Good morning, students. Good morning to all. So, on last day, we have studied about the basis of trade cycle. Right? Have you remember about this? So, just we will remember about the basis of trade cycle. Not so much because 2 days we have studied the basis of trade cycles. So, in this basis of trade cycle, so four bases are there: the boom, a recession, and recovery, and depressions. So each and every economy, all the kind of the economy must be facing this four type of the trade cycle. Okay, so the four bases are there. The four bases in this trade cycle is also faced by the all type of economy. So today we will go to the next lesson, banking. So already we have completed the fifth lessons. Okay, so today just we will go to the next lesson, banking. So why we need to study the banking in our economics mean? So already we have studied in our last class. So the supply of money and the inflations and the deflations and some of the financial problem faced by all the entrepreneurs and producers and even the consumers for their daily basis of life and the production and the channel of distributes. Okay, so the finance is the lifeblood of all economic activities such as trade, commerce, agricultural and industries. Okay, if you are taking any one of the stream, so all the streams also must be in the need of having the financial assistance. Okay, so the finance is the lifeblood of all economic activities of all the industries, commerce and productions. Okay, suppose if there is no financial facilities, if the producers want to start and establish a unit of the industries, he must has some amount of the money to make the investment or capitals. Okay, so if there is no financial organizations to provide the financial assistance when the producers or the entrepreneur don't have the sufficient level of money, what will happen? So the economic activities will not moving efficiently or smoothly, right? So a bank, then who will provide the financial facilities for them? When the producers or the entrepreneurs don't have the sufficient level of money, they must borrow some amount of money from any of the institutions. Then which institutions will be provided the enabled financial assistance to the means? One of the organization is needed. So the organization we can take as a bank. So a bank is generally understood as an institution which provides fundamental financial service such as accepting deposit and lending loans, right? So the normally the bank is considered as a fundamental financial services. So what are the financial services mean? First it will be accepting the different kind of the deposits, and they will rendering the loan for the entrepreneurs, consumers and the producers and those who all want to receive. So banking sector acts as a backbone of modern business world. Okay, so the banking sector is act as a backbone of a modern business world, because nowadays without having a little bit of money, one entrepreneur or one business, one individual persons can able to become as a businessman. Okay, but when he has the confidence to undertaking or conduct one of the business activities, he has some of the opportunity to borrow the money from many organizations, or must it is considered as a bank. So the bank only is considered as a backbone of modern commercial value. Even the existing producers or entrepreneurs also will be in need of having the more money or more capital assistance, financial assistance. Okay, so without having the banking facilities, no one will improve their business organizations from their existing level, and no persons will become as a businessman and they won't conduct or establish the industries or union of the firm. Okay, so the by providing the financial facilities by the bank only, so even a single persons can conduct and become as a new entrepreneurs. Okay, so the bank only is considered as a backbone of all the modern economic wealth. The banking system significantly contributes for the development of any country. Okay, not only in our countries, and so many of the banks are provides many facilities, and it provides the contributes for the development of any country. If any of the country want to become as developed, or it will be earning more growth, so without the help of the bank, it is not possible, because the bank only have to take more effort and provide more financial facilities to the commercial banks and the entrepreneur and even consumers. Okay, so when the consumers want to increase their purchasing power without the employment opportunity, so the bank can able to provide the financial assist. Because of having the borrowed money, they can increase the purchase of power. Okay, not only that, some of the banking sector also will be decide or will be hold the power to controlling the inflation and the deflations, as we have studied already. Okay, so in the time of inflation, so the reserve bank or some of the bank will be increase or decrease, and it will be come to the changes in their rate of interest to borrow the money to other persons. Okay, so like that, if the demand, if they want to improve the increase the demand for the commodity also, the bank will be help. Okay, so in this way, so the banking system contributes for the development of all countries. Due to the importance in the financial stability of a country, banks are highly regulated in most countries. So the financial facility is most important. Okay, so because of that, so all the banks are highly regulated in most countries. The bank also have the power to regulate all the other commercial banks and other some of the organizations, but the central government or the state government also has the power to control and regulate the bank as a separately. Okay, because without the help of the bank, without the contributions of the banking system or the banking sector, no country can able to develop. Okay, so all the countries also have been the special rights and special norms and conditions to regulate and control the all type of banks in nations. Next, the historical development of the bank. A large number of central banks were established between 1921 and 1954 in compliance with the resolutions passed by the International Finance Conference held at Brussels in 1920. In 1920, at the Brussels, one of the international finance conferences was conducted. Okay, which is in here, a large number of central banks were established. And if you want to know about the first Bank of India, the first Bank of India was Bank of Hindustan. It was established in 1770. So the banking system in India was controlled and dominated by the president of banks. So after that, some of the Bank of Bengal, Bank of Bombay and Bank of Madras is established step by step and again and again. Okay students, next we will study about the commercial bank. Commercial bank mean what? Normally So all type of the bank existing throughout our world is considered as a commercial bank. Our commercial banks refers to a bank or a division of large bank which more specifically deals with deposit and loan services provided to corporations or middle-sized business. So what are the banks are receiving the deposit from the public and rendering to the same public in such a way to improving the economic development is considered or called as a commercial banks. The commercial banks refers to a bank or a division of a large bank which more specifically deals with the deposit and loan services provided to the corporations or large and middle-sized business as opposed to individual member of the public business. The commercial bank do not provide long-term credit as liquidity of assets is to be maintained. So the commercial bank of India, the commercial banks will not provide the long-term credit as liquidity of assets is to be maintained. Okay, because already we have studied, so all the commercial bank must be hold the part of their total deposit in the reserve hand of the Reserve Bank of India. So on the basis of it, so the commercial bank will not provide the long-term credit in the term of cash. Okay, student. Next we will study the functions of commercial bank. So the commercial banks are institutions that conduct business with profit motive by accepting public deposit and lending loans for various investment purpose. But what are the functions are there in this commercial bank? So we can classify the functions of commercial bank as a three broadly type. First one is primary function, next one is secondary function, and another one is other functions. First, the primary functions. In this primary function of the commercial bank is accepting deposit. So the commercial bank implies that accepting deposits. So the commercial banks are mainly dependent on public deposit. Okay, so what is the main source of the commercial bank is public deposit only. So the commercial bank is accepting the deposit from the public. So this is also have the two types. First one is demand deposits and time deposit. So the demand deposit refers to deposits that can be withdrawn by individuals without any prior notice to the bank. So on the basis of their current demand or on the basis of their normal demand, whenever they want to get the money from the bank, they can easily take back. Okay, so on the basis of having the power to withdraw the money from the bank, if you are deposit to the bank, that is called demand deposit. Or in other words, the owners of this deposit are allowed to withdraw money anytime by writing a withdrawal slip or a check at the bank counter or from the ATM centers using debit card. Normally we are using the deposit. So normally people, those who want to save the money from their daily basis life, and if they want to allot some amount of the money as a savings for their futures purpose, they will create an demand deposit only. Okay, so when we have the demand deposit, we can easily withdraw the money from the bank in any case of time without getting the permission to the bank. So for that we can use the writing or the checkbooks are now used in modern days. So we are using the ATM card to withdraw the money. Next, time deposit. So time deposit refers to the deposit that are made for certain committed period of time only. So in this time deposit, those who are having the time deposit, we must be committed some of the period of time. So banks pay higher interest on the time deposit. So normally we can't withdraw the money from the bank like a demand deposit. If you want to withdraw the money, so we have to give some prior notice to the bank. But by following or by keeping this time of the time deposit, the bank will provide the higher interest. Normally we can't take back the money from any bank or any ATM centers like a demand deposit. Okay, by providing the prior notice to the bank only, we can withdraw the money from the bank, and we can't take back the money by the ATM center also. So these deposits can be withdrawn only after a specific time period by providing a written notice to the bank. Okay, so normally within 1 hour or with before 1 day or before 1 week, if we are giving the notice to the bank only, we can withdraw the money from there. So what is the benefit from this both demand and deposit and time deposit mean? In this demand deposit, we can take back the money from any time without giving the notice to the bank, but the rate of interest is very low. But in this time deposit, we can't take back the money from the bank, and we can't take back the money by using the ATM center. But one of the benefit is the high rate of interest will be provided by the bank. Next, advancing loan. The advancing loans also one of the functions of the commercial banks. So it refers to the granting loans to individuals and the business. So all the entrepreneurs and even the consumers also has the confidence to conducting their business unit by having the functions of the commercial banks. So the advancing loans, if those who all want to borrow the money from the bank sector, they can easily get the loan in advance. So by having the advancing loans only, all the entrepreneurs and the consumer also can able to increase their purchasing power, and the producers also can establish the new or expand the existing industry. So the commercial banks grant loans in the form of overdraft, cash credit, and discounting bills of exchange. So nowadays different kinds of the facilities is provided by the bank to getting the advance loan. And now the different type of the loan format also introduced by the commercial bank for the purpose of improving their living standard and improving their business unit. Okay, so the advancing loans is the most important benefit to the all the entrepreneurs, and the providing the advancing loans only will be improving both the banking system and the entrepreneurs also. Because of providing the bank loans to the entrepreneurs, the bank will get the more rate of interest, and because of that their income also will be increased. Okay, but in the entrepreneurs also will be getting the same side benefit of expand their existing industries, or if they want to establish the new industries also, it will be used. So without the benefit of without the functions of advancing loans, so our economic development will not be improving as considerably. Next, secondary functions. So the first three function is the primary functions. So demanding deposit, accepting deposit, and advancing loans. Okay, by receiving the deposit from the public, so it will be give back the or it will be providing the loans to the entrepreneurs and other type of consumers. Okay, so it will be creating the savings from one side, and it will be providing the money to the other side and the same side also. So next, the secondary functions. So except the primary functions, some of the secondary functions also undertook by the commercial banks. So what are the secondary functions is undertook by the commercial bank is, first one is the agency function. So it implies that commercial banks act as agent of customers by performing various functions. So the commercial banks also act as a agents or the agent of the customers by performing various functions. What are the functions have to conduct and have to accomplished by the customers? Instead of them, the commercial bank will be doing that work. First, on the basis under the agency functions. So the commercial bank will do the collecting checks. So the commercial banks collect the checks and bills of exchange on behalf of their customers through clearinghouse facilities provided by the central bank. So the central bank also introduce different kind of the benefit. So the one of the benefit is clearinghouse facilities. Clearinghouse facilities means if you want to change the check in the form of money, so we can easily change the check in any one of the bank. For example, if we have the check of the HDFC bank and in our area there is no branch of HDFC bank mean, so we can easily, so we can give to the other bank and we will change in the terms of money. But this is called the clearing house facilities. Okay, so in this, under these facilities, so the commercial bank only will do it on the behalf of the customers, and because for that the commercial banks will collect all the checks, those who all want to change the checks in the form of money. Next, collecting income. So the commercial banks collect dividends, pension, salaries, rent and interest on behalf of the customers. Okay, so normally if the organizations want to provide the salary for their workers, they will totally deposit into the banks. So the bank will collect all the salaries and other type of the remunerations from the any one of the organizations, and it will be give back to the separate workers. Okay, so normally the individual organizations only have to doing this work, but on behalf of the individual organization, the commercial bank will be doing it. For that, a credit voucher is sent to customer for information when any income is collected by the bank. Okay, so whenever the banks are collecting the money from their organizations on behalf of the customers, it will be send the message to the customers in such a modern way. For example, SMS and email, and in the way, so the commercial bank will send the message, and the customers also will have the satisfaction and the confidence on the commercial banks. Next, paying expense. So now if you want to purchasing any of the commodities, we have to pay some amount of the money for that. So because of that, we all the persons must be having some amount of money in the form of cash in their pocket. Okay, but without having the money in the form of cash, we can use the credit card and the ATM card and debit card and the different type of the plastic cards. Okay, but even if it is not like that, so without having the cards and the cash, so the commercial bank will be doing that same work, the paying expenses. So the commercial banks make the payments of various obligations of customers such as telephone bills, insurance, premium, school fees and rents. Suppose when we have the account only is enough, and if we are asking the bank to paying the every fees and the penalties instead of the customers, they will do it for them. Okay, normally if they want to paying the bill for the telephone, insurance, premium and school fees, and now the EMI, everything will be collect and paying to the prescribed organizations on behalf of the customers only. Similar to credit voucher, a debit voucher is sent to the customers for information when expenses are paid by the bank. So after paid the fees on behalf of the customers, the commercial bank will send the voucher and other type of the bills to the customers. Then the customers will come to know about the transferring the amount from bank account to prescribed organizations. Next, general utility functions. So we can study the general utility functions on tomorrow because it need more hour to continue. Okay, so in these primary functions and the secondary functions, if you have any doubt, please ask me. And today's study portions also just to take the same, the primary functions and the secondary functions of the commercial bank. Okay, thank you.